Head Podcast, sit back and chill.
Relax, take it easy.
Dummy Head Podcast, keeping it real.
Good shit, good shit.
You can listen while you sleep or you running up a hill. Listen while you work or you cooking up a meal. It's a podcast, baby, it's an audio format. You can listen on your phone or your TV or your computer. Anywhere you have access to the internet and podcasts are available, you can enjoy it. Spread the word, tell your mom and her friends. Yell it from the rooftops, Dummy Head Podcast. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Dummy Head Podcast. I am your host, the ghost of podcast past, James LaFountain. Actually, I have a confession to make. I caved in and smoked a little bit of the devil's lettuce today. I was about to record a podcast and I got real scared. Kind of calmed myself down, ate a couple burritos and watched some memes. I'm good to go. I'm back to myself. Back to being 100% millennial. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the new intro. Worked very, very hard on it. I just stole a bunch of clips from YouTube and mashed them all together in 90s retro fashion. So that was pretty fun. Made the song yesterday. It's good to be back making beats and putting stuff together in the edit. It's a little bit longer than I would have liked, but that's fine. This is a podcast, So something that happened to me recently. Somebody hit me up on Reddit and they had seen a post where I was talking about selling beats and she was trying to buy a beat from me. So, I'm telling her my prices and showed her some of my stuff. She basically told me that she was only trying to get a beat because she told this guy that she liked that she makes beats when she really doesn't. So she's trying to buy a beat from me so she could show him because he was asking about them. And I was like, I've never had anybody. I mean, she must have been young because I was like, why don't you just tell him the truth? Like, he'll probably be okay with you lying about something like that, thinking that that would make him interested in you. But, if you steal someone else's beat and say it's yours and then show him, I feel like if he found out that was a lie, that would be a bigger sin than just being like, oh, I just wanted you to like me. So I just told her, I was like, I don't feel right charging you for this. Just like take a beat, I mean, and it's not even taking a beat really. She's just playing one of my beats for this dude, So I'm like, whatever, just go for it. Cause I know how I would be if some girl told me like, yeah, I produce music or I'm a musician or even an artist or something. I'd be like, yo, let me check it out. Yeah, you don't gotta lie to kick it, man. I do feel a little bit bad because I'm like helping this girl lie. I mean, whatever. She would have found a beat somewhere else. She didn't even have to ask me, like there's tons of beats. You could just go download a beat, go rip something off of YouTube. But don't do that though. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to lie, especially about saying that you made something when you didn't. Like, I don't know. I could never. I have a hard enough time saying that I made something when I did. Cause, it's hard out here. I don't know. That just happened to me just today, so I thought that was pretty weird. Speaking of online adventures, I was talking to this girl on Tinder and I was like, yo, what's up? Like, we've been talking for a couple days. Like, you seem pretty cool, and she seemed interested in me. So I'm like, hey, what's up? Do you want to go on a date? And she just had all these excuses, and whether they were valid or whatever, but she was kind of hinting at wanting to meet up but not wanting to meet up. And so I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, I'll just come over, let's just kick it. It was super weird. I mean, she's a super nice girl and all that, but it wasn't the vibe. I called her up because she wanted me to pick up some food for her. So I call her up and I'm like, yo, what do you want from Taco John's? As soon as she picked up the phone, she's like, oh, my mice just had babies. And I'm like, that's the first thing she said. So I'm like, what? Maybe she's just nervous or something and didn't know what to say. But she just kept going on about her mice having babies and how she used to breed mice. And I'm like, what am I doing? But, I'm a nice guy. So I went over there, gave her fucking quesadilla. She was kind of weird, man. Like, just had a way different style than, not even than me, but just any person. She was younger than me too. She had like old lady paintings on the wall and, a couple cats and But thankfully she felt the same way, wasn't trying to, become my girlfriend or anything. So it was cool though to like actually meet someone that you're talking to online. Man, you can really get a vibe for somebody like pretty quick compared to if you're just texting with them and looking at their pictures. Man, you can frame that camera just right, and take pictures when you're all dressed up and stuff. And I mean, I do it too. I'm not posting some shitty pictures of myself on Tinder, So yeah, it was strange. The whole online dating thing, man, like it's so weird. I feel bad a lot of the times just going through, and swiping left and right and stuff. And I know in real life, like I wouldn't have the same standards as I do online, because of course I'm gonna be swiping right on all the babes, But if someone in real life, like you catch that vibe for them, you just like the way they joke around or talk or just the way they move, you're just gonna like that about that person, and you're not gonna get that through just texting and looking at their pictures. I really like the whole face-to-face human interaction, especially these days. It's so valuable. Like that's how I got this apartment. That's how you get things done. You show up when most people aren't going to show up. That's how I got my job. Like I went and searched out my boss. He was like across town at some different office, and I'm like, I'm coming to you, man. Like let's do this interview. So yeah, that's really valuable, I think. Just meeting up with people and showing up and showing that you got initiative to do things face to face instead of hiding behind the keyboard, as they say. I don't really get on Tinder too much. I just thought it was cool. Kind of wanted just to get it out of the way. Like if we're gonna be talking, then I want to at least meet. If we live in the same town, and it shut that shit down right away. So I think it's good to go on dates. So that wasn't a date, but it is good to go on dates. If both people are kind of looking for the same thing, you're going to get a lot more from meeting that person in real life. Yeah, I was kind of allergic to her cats too, so I don't know how that would have worked. It was cool, man. She was nice, and she was like, it was kind of a mutual thing where she was like, yeah, I just don't think the vibe is matching up. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And she was talking about like, how she wants like a pink house and like a pink coffee machine and she wanted pink everything. And I'm like, that was my first red flag where I'm like, I know that type of person. So yeah, that was enough of Tinder for a while. I mean, I don't got time for a girlfriend, man. Like if you're just trying to like hook up or whatever, like if it happens, it happens. But I don't know, the whole time thing, like I'm already struggling with time. I mean, I work so much. Maybe it's a good thing. And honestly, I don't even know how much longer I'm gonna be here in Kalispell. It could be until my lease is up here. I've been looking to move out of state, and I've been saving up, taking care of business. So eventually, if I was to move, it would kind of suck to be in a relationship, especially if that person isn't trying to move. It's something you got to think about. The age that I'm at, most people my age are looking to be with somebody, and looking to have a partner in life. You got to be careful out there, man, and just you never know. And I was thinking about her too. I'm like, I'm kind of concerned that you were just so quick to let me come over to your house. I mean, she's lucky that like I wasn't some fucking psychopath or something, because I don't know why you would do that, really. I would be weird about someone coming over to my house, that I just met, even if it's some girl, like that shit happens. There's stories out there. Look them up. So yeah, it's been not a very eventful week. Work has been going good. I got some stuff done yesterday for the podcast, and woke up this morning and worked on that for a little while. Got that all wrapped up. So the vibe is getting there, man. I'm figuring things out. Kind of thinking about the logo too. I'm not really sure if that's something that's going to stick around for a while. Maybe it's just the color scheme, but it just doesn't sit right with me right now. But either way, yeah, I was wanting to get this one done, get it knocked out Sunday. Hopefully I can find more time in the week to do these, especially with things that happen during the week. That way I could talk about them when they're fresh on my mind. Actually, the whole Tinder thing was last weekend, and it was after I recorded that podcast. But yeah, just to have them banked up. I continually find myself talking about the podcast process because I have nothing better to talk about right now. That's just what's been on my mind. It's going to be a process. We're getting there, I promise. I decided that I'm going to quit vaping. I'm not really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hearing about 3 weeks or something when I'm like just totally over it. I'm just lucky that I have a job where they don't care if I vape. Maybe I would have already quit by now, but you know, if I'm out and I like leave my juice at home or my battery dies, like I fucking panic. Like I have to go home or I'm just not having a good time. I went to a baseball game a few weeks ago and that happened. We were sitting there, you know, we just sat down. It was like the first inning and my vape battery died. And I'm like, man, I can't get up and like leave the game and go home and, you know, just for a vape battery. But instantly it was just all I could think about and I wasn't enjoying myself. You know, even my cousin was like, well, yo, what's wrong, cuz? And I'm just like, man, this is so stupid. You know, if it's cigarettes or something, you can just, I don't know, like just having the vape accessible at all times. You could, you know, get these high strength nicotine and you're vaping all throughout the day. Like you just get so goddamn addicted to it. And I'm not liking it, man. Like I do like nicotine, obviously. I hate being so addicted to something that if I don't have it, just even for a couple hours or something, I'm like, I just panic and lose it. And I'm like, I can't even enjoy myself. I don't want people to even see me that way too. Like, I don't want to be that guy, you know? I mean, I'm already that guy with like, you know, I always got my vape in my hand or like nearby. I decided I'm going to buy one more bottle of juice and that's it. I'm not buying any more because I don't want to, I'm about out right now and I don't want to run out and then quit. I want to know when it's going to end and kind of prepare for it. Yeah, that'll be something to add to the list of things to talk about. If you're out there and you know you're maybe smoke a views every once in a while, I wish I would have never started. You know, everybody says that, but I wasn't even doing it to quit smoking. Like quitting smoking is so easy for me because I don't really like cigarettes. Like cigarettes are fucking nasty. They just taste gross and they make you feel like shit. But I've always liked vaping because, you know, like I said, I like the nicotine. You could carry it with you and you don't have to light something up and put it out. Like it's just super easy and convenient to get that nicotine. But the way it makes you so fucking addicted is terrible. And, you know, people are always like, well, that's worse for you than cigarettes. I don't know about that. And I don't think they know because they're not fucking looking at any research or anything. Like, I don't think it's as bad as cigarettes, but it doesn't mean it's good for you. So yeah, I think about that just for health reasons. And so I'm not that guy that's fucking flipping out when my fucking battery dies. Like, that's so stupid. And yeah, it would just be nice to have one less thing to carry around because I hate carrying a bunch of shit, even though no matter where I go, I have a fucking handful of things. But you know, if I could just have my phone, my wallet, my keys, that's it, you know? Maybe a water bottle, that's doable. But having this big old fucking thing in your pocket all the time. I noticed while editing in the last podcast that I was bumping the table quite a bit, you know, bumping and grinding. It was pretty annoying, so sorry for not acknowledging that in the last podcast, but I did notice that I was doing that, and hopefully that's something I can stop doing. I think I might have mentioned this before, but I am planning on starting a second channel for more of a kind of a produced video type channel, whatever that means. I just want to make videos, you know, where it's a singular video on a singular topic. One thing I had an idea of was Gen Z, you little guys. They're turning to TikTok for looking up information, and there's a lot of misinformation on TikTok. If you're looking for you know, like health advice or something, and you're going to TikTok, that is not the move. I promise you. You know, a lot of the stuff out there might be good, but I don't think kids really need to be like, you know, looking up stuff that will directly affect their health. Even if it's like, I think the article said like 1 out of 5 videos are misinformation. And all it takes is that one person who is like impressionable and they come across somebody that's convincing, and you know, they end up eating NyQuil chicken. Here on the Dummy Head podcast, we Google things like adults. Just look it up, you know, whatever it is. I implore people to look more things up in general. That's one thing that I wanted to talk about as well, was use your damn search bar, you know? Even on YouTube, like I'll find myself only watching the stuff that's recommended to me. Even if it's like the stuff you're subscribed to and you like it just gets boring watching the same stuff. And I really love YouTube, and I love a lot of the creators and a lot of different styles that people have that wouldn't really exist anywhere else. Could be really about anything, but I just like these people and how they think and put their videos together. So I've been just thinking about how, like, you know, I don't expect people to click on this video because I'm not known, I'm not anybody or anything. It's not something that I would naturally want to click on. And, you know, I recognize that. I know there are people out there who do kind of explore the internet instead of just consuming what's fed to them. And so I've been trying to do more of that. Anytime I come across something new, I'll check it out, you know, as far as the recommended stuff. And I've also been searching stuff up a lot more and just typing things into Google. I've always been that way. Like if I have a question in my mind, whether it's like a definition of a word or like what's going on with this topic, like I'll look things up. It's just cool to look something up, maybe check out a few different articles, watch some videos on it or something, and kind of just gain an understanding. Like I like to be somewhat tapped in. While I've been off social media, I haven't really been on social media at all. I just haven't been like scrolling anything. I've been on the Reddits. I think Reddit is a different beast because, you know, it's not anybody. You're following communities really more than you're following like a certain page or a certain creator or even people that you know in real life. Types of things that you're fed are a lot different, and it's more anonymous and a little more random. So I like finding things out on Reddit. Come across a lot of different topics on there, stuff that I could talk about. As far as being on social media, I haven't been on like Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, and I feel a lot better. I know it's mostly my relationship that I have with social media. I'm looking at it like I'm taking a break from it all. Whenever I get back to it, I get back to it, but I want it to be for a good reason and not just because I need to be on social media. I've had people tell me like, hey, you should get back on Facebook. And I'm like, man, I would never tell anybody that. I would never ask somebody to get on Facebook. And that's just the one that's like, it's not even cool anymore. If you're over like 45 or something, then yeah, it's kind of cool. But even then, it's like, it's not the one, you know. I find out what I need to find out, and I talk to the people I need to talk to, and I just feel way happier not being in that endless scroll. Yeah, of course there's things that people might post that I'm like, oh no, I didn't hear about that. But if it's important, it's going to get to me. I didn't come across it. It was when I was Googling like an adult, just about like podcast stuff. There was this one website that just had a list of different topics of things to talk about, and it's just stuff that I would never even think to talk about. You know, and some of them are pretty cheesy and stuff, but I think over time I will be making my own like master list. That way I'll never not have something to talk about. And you know, there's always stuff that happens to me that I feel like is pretty crazy. Just like the chick hit me up trying to buy beats so she can lie to her future husband. Yeah, so I have a little list here of the things I was going to talk about today, and it's definitely helping. I would love to have more time so I could do these more often. That way every single week I don't have to get back in the groove of it. You know, I can just, you know, only have a couple days or whatever in between podcasts. There'd be more stuff for you guys, and it'd be better for me because I would be in it more often. And it would just keep my mind thinking about the interesting things that I do have to talk about. I'm honestly getting sick of hearing myself talk about my process with getting this podcast started. That I feel like is going to force me to talk about some of these things. Let's see. I'm just going to pick something. Okay, my morning routine. You guys want to hear about my morning routine? Well, too bad, because I'm going to talk about it. My mornings look like waking up at 4 in the morning on the dot. Sometimes I wake up before, like a real manly man. I'm like, something's about to happen, and then my alarm goes off. Get up at 4, instantly pour a cup of coffee, come sit down out in the living room, flip on some YouTube, watch about, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes of that, or maybe even longer. Time goes by so fast in the morning, it's crazy. Like, I'll wake up, and then 15 minutes will go by, and I'm like, what? I didn't even do anything. Like, I just started opening my eyes. I don't know how time works, but in the morning, it's a lot faster. So yeah, I'll wake up with a couple cups of coffee, kind of give myself a chance to get a little bit hungry. I'll start some breakfast. Every day I basically have the same thing for breakfast. I'll have 4 eggs and either a couple pieces of sausage or a couple pieces of bacon, whatever I have on deck at the moment. Yeah, and then I'll eat that. And I don't journal every single day, but sometimes I'll journal. If not, then I'll just continue to watch YouTube as I get my lunch ready for the day, slowly get dressed. And I just like to have that time in the morning to not be in a rush. I can't stand just waking up in the morning and heading right to work. Like, I can't. I'm getting too old for that. So wake up with a couple cups of coffee and just have that time to hang out and, like I said, have a good breakfast, take my vitamins, get fully woken up. And so I'll leave at 5:30, and my work isn't that far, so I'll get there around 5:40, 5:45. Yeah, I'll just go clock in, kind of get things ready in the shop before people start showing up for work, which is at 6. And these guys are younger than me. Like everyone else that works there, besides a couple of the drivers. Well, actually, all the drivers are old, and everyone in the shop is young. I'm the oldest one in the shop, so I mean, they probably do. Like, a couple of them are like, yeah, I only get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night, and they'll wake up at 5:30 and have to get there by 6. Even when I was younger, like, I didn't like doing that. Like, I at least had to have an hour in the morning just to wake up and be my own person and not have to be anywhere for a minute at least. So yeah, work will maybe have a little stretch session, get a little meeting going, and then just get to it, man. Fucking 10 hours of roughing it in there, building walls and bullshitting, talking mad shit. I'll have the music turned up full blast, and it's a pretty cool vibe, as far as those types of jobs go. If you're out in the field, you're at different places all the time. They both have their pros and cons and stuff, but one thing that always kind of sucked about that was dealing with like the owners of places. Kind of got to watch your P's and Q's around the owners, but we'll get pretty wild in that shop. People just talk mad shit and listen to whatever music we want. And yeah, it can be pretty fun. There's definitely days that are, same old, but it's what you make it, man. Like, when I very first started there, this was a while ago in like 2019, the foreman at the time, I was talking to him and I'm like, man, I don't like working with this dude. Like, he's just not fun. And he's like, well, you got to make it fun. And I'm like, yeah, fucking, you're right. It's really what you make it. Like, it's all in your attitude, and I feel like I've had a way better attitude this last week than I was having before. Just being able to talk to my boss about having the time outside of work to be creative, and kind of what my life aspirations are as far as that stuff goes. It energized me quite a bit. Not only being able to talk to them about it, but them being like kind of on board with it and being like, yeah, dude, you gotta follow your dreams, like, and kind of giving me advice and trying to help me out and stuff. Like, that's pretty cool, man, because I know if they could choose, they would pick to have somebody that is trying to stick around forever, and really trying to work their way up. I think they get a pretty good idea that I'm not looking to quit and I'm not looking to leave them hanging or anything. And, you know, they've been helping me out this whole time. It's only right that I do my part. Just at least stick around until it's smart for me to move on. Definitely had times where I either quit my job or lost my job, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do music, you know, and do that full time and just go at it. While it's good to, you know, have all the time in the world to be able to do those things, you know, work on your craft and practice and get better, it can be kind of a bad thing too, because artists aren't really the most conscientious type people. You know, they're not really like sticking to a calendar and taking care of themselves the best, you know. In those times when I didn't have a job and it was kind of just, I had all the time to work on music, I would kind of isolate a lot and maybe not just really take care of myself the best. There for sure were times where I was really taking care of myself, but it's really easy to fall into that pattern where, you know, you wake up, roll out of bed, go right into the studio, and just not even get out of your chair. Like, you need to go on a walk or something, because, you know, for one, sitting down in a chair all day is not the best thing for you. And I'm, you know, the biggest hypocrite in the world, because literally doing that right now. And I didn't really do a lot today. But that's just what I'm saying. Like, but I don't have every single day to do these things. I kind of have to use my time on my weekends to take care of business and then come home and work on things. So I can't really waste any time, and I get enough exercise throughout the week. I get too much exercise. At the store today, I bought this big ass jug of mass gainer protein. You know, I've always tried to eat healthy. To me, that means not eating a lot of processed stuff, which is most everything, you know. So I'll usually just stick to meat and vegetables, which is basically in fruit and stuff, you know, but just more natural stuff. And I just like the way I feel when I eat that stuff. But just how much I work and how many calories I'm burning at work, I'm like losing weight, and I'm thinking like, man, I'm eating a lot of protein and all this, but I don't think I'm eating enough. So yeah, I got this big ass jug of this mass gainer protein. It's got creatine in it, and so yeah, that's another thing that you guys will see over time, is me fucking jacking up. Yeah, I've never wanted to gain weight just for the sake of gaining weight, but I would like to be stronger and, you know, have more energy. And so maybe, you know, basically cutting out all the processed stuff, which means cutting out carbs, is not the best thing for my energy. And so I've been trying to incorporate more carbs into my diet, even if it is something that's just junk. Usually I'll only eat that type of stuff on the weekends. But like I said, I burn so many calories at work that I kind of have to eat something, because if I just eat 100% clean throughout the week and then eat super clean on the weekends, like I can't eat enough to not even gain weight, but maintain a healthy weight. So I kind of have to supplement here and there with some high calorie foods. And yeah, we'll see how this mass gainer stuff works out. It's got whey protein in it, which I think I'm a little bit allergic to, because every time I have it, the shakes aren't as bad, but if I ever eat like a protein bar, like it fucks my stomach up and kind of my throat too. That might have been a mistake, spending $30 on a huge jug of this protein powder, but I'll test it out, see how it goes. Let's say next year. Let's see how fucking swole I get. Let's see if there's another topic in here. Who inspires you? I'm inspired by so many different people. Like, let's see. Just recently, I was inspired for the intro of this podcast. I was inspired by Curtis Connor. And he's not the only one, but it was just the most recent one I seen on on his podcast where his intro is kind of 90s theme. Sorry, that burrito is hitting me. Yeah, I kind of wanted, after I made the song was already kind of had that retro vibe to it, which I made, by the way. It's not a loop or anything. I made that whole beat. And so yeah, when I went to go do the video portion of it, I was like, well, yeah, I love that stuff. I'm a 90s kid. You know, I was born in 91. And so I love all that stuff, and it's just super nostalgic and fun. You know, everyone back then just was so corny, you know, like I was watching a lot of that on YouTube today, just coming up with different videos to steal, you know. And just some of the stuff, man, like the kind of promotional videos and different like training videos and stuff. I love it. So it was super fun to make that. But I was inspired by him, and I'm inspired by him just in general too. Like, I think he's super funny. He's around my age. I think he's 29 or 28, and it's just really cool to see somebody who like started out on Vine. Now they're on YouTube, and then they're selling tickets to tours to go around and basically do stand-up comedy to people. And I think that's awesome. Anyone who can, basically do this, sit in their room and come up with like a comedy routine about whatever topic, make a video about it, have it be interesting and funny in your own unique style. One of my favorite things to watch on YouTube is different commentary channels, like Danny Gonzalez. I just started watching Jarvis Johnson. I know there's so many out there, but I'll kind of find somebody and just watch a lot of their stuff. And so when I come across somebody new, sometimes it's a little bit harder for me to want to check their stuff out, but most of the times when I do, I'm pretty glad that I checked it out. And it's just cool to see people's different styles and stuff. That one, what's his name? Skinny Jake, or no, Nakey Jakey. The dude that sits on the exercise ball, and he'll sit in front of a green screen, and he's super funny, man. And yeah, I would love to do stuff like that. That's one of my goals, is to have like just a channel where anytime something comes up, I'm like, man, I'm gonna talk about that. So I think this podcast is kind of a good start for something like that. I find it a lot funner to have a specific thing that I could talk about. I really like kind of delving into these things, maybe just learning stuff. I like learning stuff about things that most people wouldn't really give a second thought. And you could really dive deep on the most basic things and learn something that's pretty interesting. And I think it all goes into just making you like a well-rounded person that isn't just super focused on one thing only. Being a musician can kind of be like that, because you're just so stuck in the music world all the time. Something that I definitely want to do. If you want to go subscribe to James LaFountain, you can do that. There's no videos on it yet, but I will be doing some stuff on that. So if you like stuff, if you like the internet, if you like me, then yeah, I'll be posting stuff. I'll probably put the channel on this page here for the YouTube channel, so that'll direct to that. I think that's about it. I'm gonna keep this one at that, and until the next one, peace.